Well, hello. Excellent. All good. Can you guys hear me? All right. There's no voting today because there was only one triad left, so we're going to be painting the one that's left. Well, hi, Colorsmith. Looks like it's just you and me for now. And I don't know if it's cat hair or a sketch line. Chill evening. So it's the evening for you. Hey, Wildflower, hello. And Agent XP, hello. Time for beautiful color fun. I have my paints out too. Just compared 4 brands of... Ooh, lavender. What brands? What brands? Hi, Idilo. Hey. Caps Lock. Caps Lock only makes for some fun times. 8 p.m. Oh, wow. For me, it's like the afternoon. It's 2 p.m. So as you can see on the screen, the 3 colors today are Nickel Azo Yellow, PY150, Indian Red, PR101, and Shadow Violet to act as the quote-unquote blue. And this one is 3 pigments, PG50, PB29, and PV19. 11 a.m. Ooh, you are on the West Coast. Somewhat. Daniel Smith, Roman Schmal, Rembrandt, and Holbein. Oh, fair. I didn't know that Rembrandt had a sort of lavender color. And yeah, which one is your favorite? I'll start swatching. Yes, Oregon. Ooh. are we going to? Hey, Cherry, hi! Or do you say it more like in the French way, like chérie? Fist bump. It's so tough to choose between them. Holbein is bluer and granulates less. I am wowed by the Rembrandt. Had forgotten how nice it is. I'll have to check it out. Sorry. I love how bright nickel azo yellow gets as you put it. Yeah, it kind of gets brighter. I feel like. I kind of feel like when you have it like full mass tone, it's a bit of a mustard vibe color. And then when you dilute it, that's when it gets really yellow. I'm the same. I only have a pan of it and I want a tube too. Oh no! Like the French one. Okay, chérie. That's easy for me. I'll, let me grab a post-it. I need to look at that Rembrandt lavender. Hey, good evening, Lyra. Hi. I'm considering lavender or potter's pink for the last spot in my palette. Which palette? Which palette? Potter. Maybe we should change the name of that color just so it's not associated with yeah, stuff. I really like Potter's Pink. I wonder if we could have a palette that's just like those colors with peculiar names. Like Potter's Pink, Hooker's Green, Payne's Gray, Van Dyke Brown. What else? It's kind of hard to advocate for a specific color in a palette when you don't really know what's the rest of the palette like. I will go on Ev's Discord and ask, but the big deal is with butters because I don't get it. Davy's Grey, that's a good one. I should write them down. Hold on. Potter's Pink, Hooker's Green, Payne's Gray, Davy Gray, Van Dyke Brown. That makes for a really weird palette so far. It has like a muted pink, a somewhat bright green, and a bunch of muted colors, like a bunch of neutrals. Potter's Pink is a really nice muted granulating sort of pink color. If it's not something you think you will use, sorry, in your palette, then don't put it. But if you feel like you're gonna enjoy mixing with it, the Last Triad would be a great band name. Yeah. I have a reason to have multiple PR223. Oh, Potter's Pink on several palettes. Whoops. Hey, you! Hello! Hi, I think Indian Red very diluted is like a potter's pink. Yeah, it is. Depend on the potter. Depends on the variant of that PR 101 or PR 102 pigment, but yeah, some of them are very granulating and have a hue that is somewhat similar to potter's pink. Ooh, and I have Indian Red that I never use. Guess that decides it. Well, if you never use it, why is it in your palette though? It is not quite the same general hue between potter's pink and Indian Red. I don't know if you can see my potter's pink here and my Indian Red there. It's not even 9 p.m. and I want to curl up in my bed. Well, why not? Well, my gradation between these two is not great. Ah. Well, that will have to do. I think that's enough to give us an idea-ish. 9 is a nice, dignified bedtime. Get some extra sleep. Yeah. Add some Easter family time. I didn't have too many red colors, but also just use my fave, which is Perm Red Violet. It's such a great cool red. What do you sort of know just off the top of your head? What's the pigment for that color? I know colors bit, but I can't seem to decide. So, okay, so is it possible that you get one of those pans that are split in half? You can find them on Etsy. People 3D print them. So that way you could have one part of it lavender, one part of it potter's pink, and you'll be able to see which one you use the most, right? That could work. I have 40 mostly single pigments, so I don't actually need anything. I mean, you guys know what I mean. You all know what we mean when we say we need something. You know, you know, you know. But Butter's Pink. Well, Butter's Pink at least is another single pigment, so it has that going for it. Whereas I'm pretty sure that Lavender is not a single pigment paint. Potter's Pink gets obliterated if I decide to do some. It's a color that has a relatively weak tinting strength, so yeah, the pan goes down really quickly. From Brent Permanent Red Violet is PV19, okay. But it's almost a cross between Tanya Smith, Queen Magenta. Oh, okay, so it's a cooler magenta color, basically. What a weird name for it, though. Permanent Red Violet. I think a brand that has a beautiful PR 122 color is Core. Their sort of cool magenta color is just so loaded with not pigment, but it's just so bright. These squiggles are sweet ups. Aw. Probably a lot of a blue color too. A cobalt or a cerulean or something. I recently learned that my DS Permanent Alizarin Crimson is very fugitive. Well, wait. What pigment is it? How dare they call them permanent alizarin crimson if it's fugitive? I mean, what the... White Knights or Winsor Newton Agent XP? Core Queen Magenta is amazing, isn't it? Oh, dude, all their colors in that... what do they call it? Do they call it the... Not intensity, is that the travel kit? They have a tube set that has like, what, 5 colors? It's their Cobalt Teal, Green Gold, Pearl Orange, Queen Magenta, and Dioxazine Violet. And all of these colors are just so amazing. It's so worth it. It's just so beautiful. Queen Magenta has a spot on my travel palette. Yeah, it's just beautiful. I have a Winsor Newton Vintage Potter's Pink. It's pinker than... Oh, that's interesting. That's so cool. Winsor Newton for the PR 120. Okay. I'm trying to remember if I've seen it. I know I probably have it on my dot card, but I don't know if I have it in tube. It has PR 177, PV 19, PR 149. Kimberly Creek says it's not. Oh, hold on. I'm looking forwards. Kim has done amazing work testing like fastness of paints, no contest, but she kind of ends up sorting the colors in very black or white categories. You either have a color that's light fast or a color that's not light fast. Well, in reality, there's some gray in between. Holly, oh my gosh, Holly, you're my first member. Thank you so much and welcome. I've been watching Core. Now you confirmed it. If you decide to get Core colors and you really want, you like bright, intense colors, I would definitely recommend getting that specific selection of tubes. It's the smaller tubes, it's the 5 mLs, but every single color of that selection is just mind-blowing. It is so pretty. Their cobalt teal is just gorgeous. The transparent pure orange is so transparent and so bright. The green gold is just the perfect green gold color. The dioxazine violet at Mastone is almost black. And then the queen magenta is just this perfect cool magenta color that's so crisp and pure and beautiful. They've really put in the one single one little set their 5 sort of brightest colors that are all single pigments and just amazing. I heard that Dorland's wax can make some coarse mirror. I'll have to test that out. It's on a short list of very fugitive. Yeah, but that's the thing though. It's the way she tests it is very brutal. And also, there are other pigments in the mix. So, I mean, I'll have to check it out. I check her page regularly for that kind of stuff, but I feel like the conditions to test out the light fastness of some paints are really, really harsh. And realistically, most people who use these paints for their paintings, they will never put any kind of painting in those conditions. You know what I mean? I've been following before. Yeah, but now you're a member. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Oh yeah, that's it. High Chroma set. That's the name of it. I couldn't find it. Intensity is one of their travel kits. But the High Chroma is the 5 colors that are just like effectively, indeed, so very high chroma. They're just so strong. It's so nice. Memory Blue, anyone use it? My new favorite. Which colors? Which ones are your favorite? Mine so far. I got a Memory Blue set at some point in the past. And it was such an odd selection of color. I made a video about it, but it had like a oranges, reds, a magenta, no yellows whatsoever, blues, earth hues. I think that's it. It was so peculiar. I really have no idea why they ended up with that specific selection of colors in their set. And it was a substantial set, like expensive, like 12 colors, that kind of stuff. Hi, Leslie. Hello. I need to write down to try the wax medium on core. I put up samples in my window. If they don't fade by autumn, I will go back to using it. Same for Mayan Blue Genuine. Fair, fair. Though, I mean, if you had a painting, never mind, like, you don't know what the colors are in the painting, you just have the painting. Would you set it up on the wall in that kind of conditions? I don't know if you can see, guys, but on my plate, the mix of the Shadow Violet and the Nickel Azure Yellow that has sat there for a minute or two is really interestingly separating. The has to be the PV19 because there's no red in this mix except the PV19, but it's really separating from the rest. It's really cool. Let's try to finish that wheel. And I mean, I don't say that because I'm defending Daniel Smith or whatever. I really don't care in that aspect. But it's just my stance on light fastness is that for me, when I see people really focus on this part of the paint, I kind of feel like they're perhaps focusing on the thing that is taking away some of the fun of using watercolor or any paint. And maybe not. It's just like I said, it's just my perspective from it. But yeah, I have this sort of feeling that if I would start focusing too much on the minutia of every color, I would lose some of the fun of it. Because I like being able to pick up a neon pink every once in a while and just have fun with it without this thought that the color is gonna fade, you know. Otto! Hey! Hello! Sherry, I would love to know if mine... Perhaps, I don't know if Lena has it on Sun and Colors. It's a website you can check. Lena, if you know Lena Goes Art, she's a member of this community. And her website is keeping track of the way colors fade in sunlight. She doesn't have all the colors, of course, but she's working on always working on adding more colors. It takes time to, you know, test these for light fastness. You have to leave them in the window for a good while before you can say anything. I love Victoria Twin, Kimberly Creek, but they don't suppose. No, Otto is officially, well, she's in the chat. Hi, Otto. And Kim has or had, I don't know, a lot of health issues. And I haven't really heard much of that. Aside from that. So that's why Kim is not really posting new material. I think. I'm so behind on just watching paint related stuff online that I just buy only LifeS, so I don't ever have to think about it until now. Yeah, but what if you really want to paint with neon pink? What then? What happens then? I have self-picked 13 colors, primary blue. I like all of them. But the PR206 stands out, and primary blue. But blues, they don't look special on chart. Yeah, that's they have a really interesting selection of pigments because they really focused on trying to find single pigment sources for every hue. So they're what is it? They're, I think it's neutral tint and Payne's gray are really interesting pigments. Well, Otto, I mean, Otto, correct me if I'm wrong, but Otto has indeed moved from watercolor, moved on from watercolor, but we are still besties, so she often hangs out in the live streams. Oh, this is my first time. Oh, well, I mean, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I have not tried Memory Blue. I wish more companies had better printed swatch charts. Well, that's why you look at them online, though. In videos and on all those websites that have databases of paints. Oh, yay! And it's nice to be able to sort of hang out in a like direct, instantaneous-ish, more than the usual way. Something. It is nice to know which colors are light fast. That doesn't need to stop me from using fugitive. Fugitive. Look at you, genuine Van Dyke Brown. What? They're so helpful. Oh, absolutely. I often end up referring Otto's video when I'm researching topics and whatnot. It's just so weird. Exactly. Yeah, swatches. There's so many ways to look at swatches, and if not, you can hop on communities like perhaps Reddit or one of the Discord servers that we have, either mine or Lana's, or and to ask people if they have the color, do they have swatches, would they mind sharing the swatches, that kind of stuff. It really helps to make up one's mind about the colors. So wait, genuine Van Dyke Brown, is that the one that's Natural Brown 8, NBR 8? Yay! Me imagining Dick Van Dyke using genuine color. Ooh, that sounds something you would need to see a doctor for. We can kind of get a really nice sort of warm neutral with these three. That's really cool. Hey, Sean! Nice to see you. Glad to see that the danger of the bike paths have not overwhelmed you yet. That's a weird thing to say. I'm just happy to see you. Hi. Time for the big hodgepodge of color mixes. Otto, do you want to ask your signature question? I was imagining him in Mary Poppins with colors streaming out as he dance. Of course I waited. I try. We're happy to have you, Sean. The only time I asked your question, Otto, is because you weren't there and we were all confused because of the time zones and everything. You'll see, you'll see. I'm really liking the neutrals that are coming out of these 3 colors. So we have 3 colors and most of them are smooth except possibly the ultramarine blue and the PG50, sort of cobalt teal in shadow violet. So it makes for a very, very subtle variation in the hue of those neutral mixes, and it's so pretty. I'm so excited to be done with this book because I'm gonna find a way to turn it into PDF or something and make it available so you guys can look at the mixes too and perhaps be able to see those really interesting shifts in within a swatch of paint. It's really cool. I'm surprised how green the mix between Nickel Azo and Shadow Violet. Yeah, it's not that bad, isn't it? It's like this muted, moody olive green. It's really cool. What was the best thing you ate this week? Ooh. Well, we made a delicious frangipane pie today, so I would vote for that. Spaghetti carbonara. Ooh. So carbonara, that's the one without cream in it. Alfredo is the one with the cream in it, right? Carbonara is just like Parmigiano, some sort of fancy pork, either bacon or prosciutto, pancetta, pepper, and an egg yolk, I think. Is that the one? Easy. We threaded steak, mushrooms, and zucchini onto wet sticks. We soaked in a... Wow, that sounds really cool. Wow. Original Swiss carrot cuisine. What is that? Yeah, me too. I'm surprised. I think it's a really cohesive, like, muted palette so far. Now I'm getting hungry. Yeah, that's something that happens quite often. Oh, original Swiss carrot cake. Oh yeah, okay, cuisine cake. Hey, Lena! Hello! Tomorrow is schnitzel with leek sauce. Ooh. I want cheesecake. Well, if you get cheesecake, you can have it all to yourself. Are we gonna start on another ramble about cheesecake? I love today's triad. Yeah, it's really interesting so far. Kind of surprising in a way. You better share that cheesecake. I will die on this hill. I'm sitting on a different chair than the usual. What's the recipe you can think of that has a somewhat quote unquote odd mix of elements, like for example cheesecake. Like at a glance, cheese and cake is kind of an odd concept. If you're gonna get what I mean. I would share for sure I can't eat an entire one myself. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of cheesecake. My aunt makes a great cheesecake with... Oh, is it meringue? Like it's basically egg whites and sugar. And you whip them stiff. Pasta, eggs, guanciale, and pasta water. No Parmesan, huh? Well, I could, but it would be unwise. There are meat pies. Yeah, but it's not... Okay, so if you take the concept of a pie, which one is the OG? The meat one, like the savory pies, or the sweet pies? Maybe meringue, but it's not hard. It's soft with golden drops. People put rhubarb in pies and it's criminal. How so? You don't like rhubarb? It is kind of tart, isn't it? And stringy. It's like a big pinkish tart celery. My thing with rhubarb is that it's always strawberry and rhubarbs, and if you give me the option, I would rather just have strawberries, no rhubarb. Just don't give yourself, don't go through the hassle of just give me the strawberries. Both kind of pies are legit. Yeah, that's why it's which one is weirder then? Corn dog. Hey, corn dog, that's a good one. Also, I think the cheese yeah, but still, for most people that were raised in North America, you don't, unless your parents bring it in, you're not familiar with quark. Like sweet cheese is not really much of a thing, right? No, I don't like it at all. Yeah, rhubarb is weird. It's one of those things that I wonder who first saw a rhubarb stalk and was like, let's try to do something with it. Like, you don't have to. It can just grow in the yard and be pretty, because I feel like the stalks are pretty, the green and the pink. It's kind of cute. Oh, cream cheese. I did a watercolor class yesterday at the Cheese Cave in Phoenix, Oregon. Oregon? I don't know. So we got cheese plates and painted cheese. It was awesome. I'm eating some of the brie right now. Oh, that's really cool. The dog part or the corn part? I would say both, because a corn dog is neither corn nor dog. I mean, for that, a hot dog is also really weird. Strawberries need to wait at least a month though. For cheesecake painting. It's cheese painting in cheese cave. And you need to borrow the cheese hats from Wisconsin for that. Let's have the most cheese thing ever to have ever cheesed. For strawberries to become seasonal. Oh, yeah. I mean, we get the mutant strawberries from the south. I kind of like them better, to be honest. Because I always feel like when I get local strawberries, they don't taste like anything much. And if it comes to that, I'll buy the mutant gigantic strawberries from the grocery store. I know that's blasphemy, but go figure. Sounds very cheesy. Oh, dang. Lena is not pulling the punches today. I like my strawberries fresh. Not be. I mean, it's ideal, but sometimes you buy those local ones and they're not even good, which is such a heartbreak. No, the name of the shop is Cheese Cave. It's a little cheese store in Phoenix. Ah. Oh, I thought it was an actual cheese cave. I mean, a cave that was named Cheese Cave because why not? I mean, how awesome would that be? You go sit down in a cave, you paint the cave with your plate of cheese. No? It's just me. Okay, maybe not. Still has cheese and paint. Don't threaten me with a good time. Okay, so to keep up with the sort of outrageous takes on things here, when you guys eat fruit or veggies, do you eat them, like, assuming the plan is to eat them raw, okay? So uncooked. Like some people will put sugar on everything or salt or tagine. So I'm curious what you guys do with your raw food things. I thought cheese cave, like wine cave kind of thing. So you need the yellow pound. Challenge is you get a cheese plate with the little cheese knife and you try to paint with that. Sugar on veggies. I don't know, but I've seen people put salt on apples, so salt on apples. Salad made of strawberries, fried green asparagus, and goat cream cheese. I mean, that sounds like an actual meal. Sounds good. Pepper on all the pepper is so good. Like black pepper or chili pepper. I am a pepper addict. Black pepper is delicious. People are not punched. My mom salts melon. The only melon that kind of works with salt is cucumber. But yeah, it was just like one time a long time ago, I was in one of the places I've worked at, and there was a guy, he was eating a green apple, fine, but he was like putting salt on it, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it's not exactly common here. On Mexico Beach, they sell hot pepper powdered. Yeah, it's the tagine. It's the. I mean, tagine itself is not spicy, but it's a mix of like lime, salt, and pepper, like uh, like chili, but not spicy pepper, not black pepper. For me, it depends. Sometimes I eat them without anything, but often I make a salad. I'll salt them lightly, veggies. No extra sugar on anything though. Yeah. Black telly cherry pepper. Ooh. I buy a giant bag from Costco. Real black pepper. What makes it more real than... I mean, I couldn't have any kind of black pepper that is not from a grinder. It's just so... It's, first of all, it's delicious when it's freshly cracked. Compared to pre-ground pepper, which is just weird. Black pepper, balsamic vinegar on strawberries. Huh. My parents always salted their melon. Like any kind of melon, or just watermelon, or just like cantaloupe, or... You had me until Costco. Yeah. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? I'm keeping the cheesecake. Oh, I think you're gonna have to split the cheesecake. What do I not know about Costco? So do you go to Costco commute or with your bike? I hope you have a cargo bike if you go to Costco with the bike, because I mean they don't do like small bags of anything over there. Did Costco do something? I mean, they did good things, right? They're a big company, so they've done their fair share of bad things, pretty sure, but like they've stood up on some of their principles that were not the worst, is the way I could put it. I assume you use a lot of pepper if you buy. How big is your pepper grinder? It's a full flour mill. Oh, Costco is fine. It's the mountain of pepper. Oh, okay. Well, you don't have to eat the part of the dish that has all the pepper. Pepper is delicious in everything. Well, most everything. Every savory thing. Okay, I saw a documentary on pepper, and listen. Conspiracy. Apparently, pre-ground pepper often has less pepperin, the stuff that gives it spice, because those peppers sometimes were used to extra... Oh, what? It's weak sauce pepper. Yeah, with whole pepper, you cannot really do that. Pepper grinder bought at Costco. Yeah, you need 2 people to grind pepper with it. I have a truck, but I tried to ride a bike. Yeah, that's a really good idea. And yeah, if you have a truck, you can easily haul back the biggest bag of pepper that they have. True. Get whole dairy world of difference. We get our it's black peppercorns we get from our sort of online farmers market, and it's a deal they've made with a small grower in Madagascar. So it's just, you know, black peppercorns, but they're really delicious. And I have a grinder that I've had for like 40 years. They have pink peppercorns, they have white peppercorns, and they also have wild black peppercorns. But they say that if you get the wild black ones, you're better off with a mortar and a... What's the word for it? Like a hand grinder kind of thing, not a grinder with a wheel, because it's a bit more like gummy, and it's gonna clog up the grinder. And it's why the pre-ground one is cheaper. Yeah. As an Asian, I have to defend the need for both peppercorns and pre-ground peppers. Well, I mean, if the goal is to have something that is a bit less punchy, then you can definitely use the pre-ground ones. But if you're after the, you know, the punchiness of fresh pepper, it's a little truck though. I mean, the little trucks are the best trucks. As long as it's not a stupid cyber truck. Yeah, a pestle, thank you. I went, my brain went mortar and pilon, which is the French word for pestle, and I was like, nope. Not quite. A mortar and pestle, yeah. Really handy for some of them. Like pink peppercorns are really hard to grind in a grinder because they tend to separate between the pink shell and the inside of the peppercorn, and it just doesn't grind well. How do I know that? You can just use your coffee grinder too. Yeah, but your coffee grinder is gonna make for pepper coffee after. Oh, if you have a Peugeot, you really don't need to replace it with anything. You're fine. Mine is a Baribo Craft. It was made here a bajillion years ago. It has a all metal grinding mechanism, so unless you try to destroy it, it's pretty much indestructible. Two things, it's Peugeot and Creuset, right? I wouldn't drive a Tesla if someone gave it to me for free. The only way I would drive a Tesla if someone gave it to me for free is to drive it off a cliff and jump out of it before it dives off. Like it's garbage. It's a piece of crapo. If someone gave me a Tesla, I would set it on fire. Yeah, basically. Any kind of... There's a cat social media account that I like to follow, and it's Gunzo the cat. I think the handle often is Gunzo the ghost. But yeah, it's a orange and white cat, relatively young, quite massive, not fat, just a big, you know, male cat. And his humans use the account to sort of have the cat talk, quote unquote, and they talk in not banzo, gunzo, but they talk in what people used to refer to as sort of cat speak. And I'm setting this up just to get to the point that he calls Elon Musk Elno, and it just cracks me up so much. Elno. I don't know, it's just so funny. It's like Elno, it's a mistype, and it's also El no, which is basically saying he's just nope. I just find it funny. The muted green is amazing, isn't it? And it has this texture in it that's just really cool, really lively. Hold on, let me catch up on chat a bit. I'm going to have to Google. Sorry, I'm going to have to Google Peugeot. They're quite. It's a car company, and they're quite fancy kitchen items. This palette reminds me of Dark Knight scenes in the city. Oh, really? I feel like it's a bit too warm for that, personally. I'm loving the yellowish greens. Yeah, they're surprisingly nice. I wish I could show you guys the play of color within the swatches. It's so cool. Hold on, okay. If someone gave me a Tesla or other fancy car, I would sell it and buy a nice Ford Focus. Banzo. I mean, Banzo is another story. Also an orange cat, mind you. But yeah, I was mentioning Gunzo. Cybertrucks don't need you. They burn and rust and buckle all on their own. They fall apart all on their own too. El no. Yeah, exactly. El no. Latin side note, we should be getting the adoption of update. Yeah, who is Banzo? Okay. Did they set an account for... I thought the new human didn't have a social media. Founded in 1810 and I've never heard of it. I feel very American. I mean, with that name, I think it's French, right? Hey, Sassy Britches, hello. Yep, it is Shadow Violet. I've been wanting to try Indian Red. I don't really like red or dull color, but for some reason Indian Hen has been... It's a really nice muted color with a very strong color shift as it dries, but really serviceable for a lot of things, from brick to skin tones. The account name on Instagram is Rachel Ray Robertson. Yeah, so the Garbanzo story, I'm going to try to sum it up as best I can, and if I crash and burn, Otto might be able to help. But basically, we follow the story through Rachel, who is a person that did a lot of foster and cat rescue and all of that. And she was called from a shelter because they had a cat that was under her name on the microchip. And she inquired, and it was an orange long-haired cat named Garbanzo. And the thing is that the last time Rachel saw Garbanzo, she had been adopted out to someone who had been vetted to be, good to take care of the cat. So how did the cat end up in a shelter, completely traumatized and really mad at humans? So Rachel went, got Garbanzo out of the shelter, brought her home, and set her up in a place where she could try to sort of rehabilitate Garbanzo into a cat that trusts human instead of a cat that's scared of humans. So in a really like shortened version, that's kind of it. It was really nice to see Garbanzo sort of regain trust and become a happy cat again over like a month. I bought Indian Red to paint bricks. So far I have never actually painted bricks. The Indian Red from Winsor Newton that I'm more used to is a little darker and more purple. Yeah, there's so many variants of this particular pigment. It's all the iron oxide pigments, whether it's, yellow ochre, the Indian Red, Venetian Red, all of that, or the burnt sienna, burnt umber. There's so many variations. If you have a favorite one, the best you can do is stick with the same brand and hope that they get consistent batches of that pigment. But unless it's the synthetic one, if it's the natural one, it's going to fluctuate a bit. Rachel always makes the adopter of her foster cats to keep the chip registered under her name, so if anything happens like this, they can contact her. Indian red mix ultramarine. Yeah, if you mix Indian red with a granulating color, you get some really fun stuff, because the Indian red is a bit more opaque and kind of more smooth, and then a granulating color in there really adds a lot of depth to the opacity of the Indian red, if that makes sense. Yeah, they had to give Garbanzo a lion cut because she was so matted. But her hair has grown back in a lot too. Indian red and Indian yellow, yeah. All right, so let's get started on the other page. Can I somewhat show a bit more of this, or will I have to paint upside down? I need to stretch a bit. Guys, get up and stretch with me. Drink some water. Congrats, Otto. No, Otto didn't adopt Garbanzo, as far as I know. That would be a twist. I'm sort of on screen. Sort of. Can I set this differently? Not really. The green on the palette, the way it's... Yeah, it's so interesting what goes on with this ceramic palette. Oh, I thought it was Otto who adopted. Aw. We wish. This triad looks like my typical triad. I need to experiment with more modern colors. I mean, only if you want to. But I like gray so much. What's your favorite gray mix? Nickel Azo yellow is such a nice transparent yellow. I'm still hoping that the cat distribution system will deliver me a fat ginger cat. Viridian and Queen Rose. Ooh, hold on, I gotta write that down. Sounds like it has to have a beautiful texture. Genuine Viridian, right? French, yeah, French ultramarine and burnt umber is a good old classic. Any kind of ultramarine. Cobalt blue and burnt. Oh, okay. So it's basically just a very granulating spin on it, right? I keep thinking of cobalt teal, but cobalt blue is actually quite close to ultramarine blue in hue. PY 150 and Prussian blue? Do you get a gray from that? It's gonna make for a beautiful green, for sure. Yeah, genuine Viridian. Oh yeah. I really like cobalt blue with... Ooh, okay. Just a bummer that Quinn Burnt Orange is probably one of the discontinued Quinn pigments. My boyfriend tries to befriend every cat he meets. Good idea. Good guy. I do the same, so I can't really say anything about that. I'm gonna need another post-it. Alright. Woohoo! Oh yeah, Phthalo Blue and Transparent Pearl Orange is a great mix. You can get some really nice ones with like a magenta color and a very, what's the word? Cool red and blue green. Wow, my brain is just not collaborating today. Right, hold on. Phthalo Blue. I'm pretty sure there are some of these that I've tried in the past, but I'm still gonna write them down. Transparent Orange. Perlin Green and Perlin Violet. Yeah, that's a good dark one. I mean, Perlin Green is almost already there. Almost already at a black. I heard green, sorry. Oh, no problem. No problem. Don't worry about it. I'm still gonna write down Prussian Blue, and because I know it's gonna make for a gorgeous green, and I love me some green. Yeah, and sometimes I munch my words and all of that, so don't worry about that. No worries. So I am going towards the red. So what I try to do on this page, in case you are new or something, is on the other page here I just mix like whatever is already on the palette from doing the wheel and all of that. And then for this page I try to start from yellow and to incrementally go towards red and then blue and then back to yellow. So I go through like the whole range of these colors, but I don't particularly make an effort to keep the mixes super clean, because we already have that info in the color wheel here. And sometimes I will make some swatches that are more diluted, some more strong. So that's basically what I try to do here. But yeah, I try to keep it not like a fully clean mix. My favorite green was Queen Golden Ultramarine. Finally caved in and bought Daniel Smith Undersea Green last week. Love it. Queen Golden Ultramarine. Can really have some fun things going on with the granulation in here. Wild purple neutralized to gray. Ooh. My boyfriend is such a keeper. Drives home to spend the rest of the day. Aww. This is bringing cheesecake. Oh my gosh. How much of a cheesecake head are you, Wildflower? Sorry, I think that's particularly funny. The recurring theme of cheesecake. I make my darkest greens from phthalo green. Oh yeah, you can probably bring that to almost completely neutral, right? Phthalo green. I guess it's phthalo green blue shade. Right? 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 Maybe? The yellow shade one, like, no one ever talks about it. It's as dark as Perylene green, but I like the vibration of the red. Yeah! It sounds like it's gotta be a color that's awesome, like everything but flat. I like the gray Rembrandt's PV15 and PG23. Oh, that sounds really pretty. I never get cheesecake because nobody I knew likes it, and I don't want to sit by myself eating cheesecake. You need to find a bakery that has the sort of individual servings. Sometimes they do that. They get a whole cheesecake and they cut off slices, and you can buy just one slice. I have a mental image of sitting alone at the kitchen table eating from a whole ass cheesecake, and it's just so funny. Oh, the fellow green mind of Dennis. Oh my gosh. I would 100% sit by myself and eat cheesecake. Hey, Frosty girl, hi. But after today, I might just buy cheesecake at Costco. That's the best reason to. Ugh. Yeah, blue shade. Okay. It's an easy black mix. I think I got a similarly interesting colors. I'm trying to remember what was the pairing. It was from the Schminke 24 color palette. But it was basically the cobalt green dark with one of the reds in there. And you get this really moody, neutral, like gray-brown color that's super fun to use for stone and like tree bark. I might make some. I'm not gonna butcher that. I hope that's good. By the way, that goes for any cake. I'm not particularly supporting cheesecake or anything. Placing my Cheesecake Factory delivery order right now. Oh, for real? What are you getting? Oh my gosh. Speaking of cake, ooh. Oh, speaking of, Otto, you mentioned the phthalo mines. There was a Jinja is not in chat today, but there was a sort of live stream from Jerry's Artorama with someone from Daniel Smith last Friday, I want to say. And poor Ginger had to suffer through me losing my sense at some of the stuff that was not everything. Thankfully, it was not a complete like just nightmare, but oh my gosh, some things that they still put forth is just cringy at best. Disheartening at worst. I like their muffins. Ooh, they have tiramisu cheese. Dude, pick one dessert, not two. I'm kidding. Like tiramisu, why is it not just coffee cheesecake? Chocolate base use. Oh wow. Ooh, spice cake. Oh, dude. Oh no, raisins. What? Are you getting... Well, I think you were not in any state to take part in the renting. But yeah, well, what's the... I'm trying to remember what's the... But, I mean, okay, perhaps that's just me, but as a company, they boast a lot about hoarding pigments that are out of production. And it's kind of not very classy. I don't know, like I don't expect anyone to be perfectly classy, but to be like, oh, but we bought everything that was left, so now we have pigment for the next 20 years. It's to me that comes across a little bit crass. Just a little bit. Perhaps it's just me. Yeah, of course, Otto. I mean, it was the 80s and 90s, so oh my gosh. It had to have been perhaps some sort of box cake. So perhaps there were like variations depending on who made it. I gotta say, so far, the mixes between the nickel azo yellow and the Indian red are really gorgeous. They really uplift the Indian red to a glowing color. Oh no, no. No, no. I mean, the fact that you can get that specific cake in a can should be enough to dissuade like 99.9% of people to try it out. Like, no, don't put cake in a can. What? I am generally miffed at Daniel Smith because I believe there is... Oh, absolutely! And, oh, that's one of the things that was driving me up the wall in that specific stream. I didn't catch the beginning of it, but I got in at the start-ish, and they were talking about Primatech colors. And basically the guy was saying that everything that's in those paint is the mineral, distilled water, and gum arabic. And I wanted to punch things so bad. It's just not right. I mean, it's a lie. It's 100% a lie. I think you should do a hate stream when you want. I might do a members only one. Or I might just like get on a call with you, Otto. So, I mean, you can see my face. I don't really mind, but I was doing a big cleanup at the same time, like I was sorting up my space, and I was listening with wireless earbuds. And I was like in another room listening to the stream, and he said something nonsensical that just, I was in the other room and I went, oh no effing way, and I walked back, bang 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 bang, came back here, and I was like, are you kidding me? I think I left a few messages in the chat. Some might be a bit snarky, just a teeny tiny bit of snark came out, but oh, I was beside myself, because it doesn't help anyone to lie about what's in the paints. I'm using Shinhan paint mostly. I've replaced a few due to excess shine. Ooh. Yeah, tube paints are difficult for that. That's perhaps the one thing that bothers me about tube paints, is to, it's really difficult after a while to keep them to the proper mix and consistency. So you might end up with some pans that have a higher ratio of binder, so the paint gets a bit more shiny. So if possible, I like pans, because pans are kind of stable, you know. You can put up a Daniel Smith color chart and throw them. I may have rented at full volume too. Were you watching it too? Oh, it was so... He was showing off amethyst and was like, oh, and as you can see, amethyst, it's a bit sparkly, because if you look at amethyst, and I was just like, I'm pretty sure my eye was twitching. Everyone would be fine with it if they said that, I don't know, amethyst has a bit of PV23 in it too, to enrich the color or whatnot. That's where you put your flowery, like, empty talk. But you don't lie to the people, especially for premium paints that cost an arm and a leg. Oh my gosh. Wait, I've missed a lot of this topic. Daniel Smith has been lying about pigment stuff. Just like with... Okay, so... Daniel Smith, in terms of paints, they are great paints. Okay, they are beautifully made, beautifully milled, nice selection of color. Their formula is relatively clean. It's a bit not the best for some paints that dry really hard and just fly everywhere in your palette once they're dry. So that's sort of the issue. But overall, they're great paints. What they do that is pissing people off is that they tend to reply very condescendingly, is that a word? To people who raise valid questions regarding their claims about some of the colors. Mission Gold Pure Pigment set. Beautiful, beautiful set. If you can find the sort of, I don't know if it's still like that, but there used to be 2 different sets of the Pure Pigment Magelo. And one had more cobalt color in it, like cobalt turquoise, and one didn't. So be mindful of that when if you decide to purchase it, but... That's a very good point, Sean. Like, Daniel Smith, one of the things they've kept doing that is annoying is they keep on hiking up the price of the paint. Like, to pay $20 for a Series 1 titanium white is nonsensical. Nonsensical. And, yeah, so... A bit of the history part of it is that Daniel Smith used to belong to Mr. Daniel Smith, I think, who was a painter. It got bought up not too long ago by its current CEO, who was working at Daniel Smith before and then eventually bought the company. And it's under him that this sort of kerfuffle happened. And basically, they kept mentioning that their Primatech paints are basically just the semi-precious stone, the binder, and water. And some people had questions about it, because if you try to do that process with any kind of natural stone pigment, you really don't get anything resembling their results. So something is weird. And then Otto will have to help me with the person's actual title, but someone very, very knowledgeable and a bit of a master in terms of knowing pigments and that kind of stuff, put some of the Amazonite genuine, I think, under a kind of a microscope machine to look more closely at all the components of the paint, and the crystalline structure of the thing was not consistent with Amazonite. It was more consistent with a phthalo green color. So if you look at Amazonite, the color of the paint, it kind of looks phthalo greeny, you know. So this person very politely raised the issue with the CEO of Daniel Smith, and he was an absolute butt to her. Condescending, rude, dismissive. He kept repeating the same things he had learned by heart that didn't make any sense and were not answering the questions. Like, he kept talking about a specific machine in a way that was like, no, it's been tested with this machine, and people were like, but this machine doesn't do that test. This machine is for something else. You know, basically this big kind of issue. And yeah, eventually it got to a point where the lack of transparency and like the fact that he would keep on being so condescending, so disrespectful, so dismissive, really turned a lot of people off, because it's a small community, and almost everyone is super friendly and super nice. But he shows up and he spews stuff he's learned by heart. He gave the feeling that he was absolutely unable to admit that he didn't know something. He had to know the thing, even if he comes from a background of not being a painter. So in terms of actually talking about the experience of working with the paint, his hey Paolo, you come in right on time. In terms of talking about using the paint, he's not sort of the person you kind of want to hear from, because he hasn't used, back then he hadn't used the paints a lot. That was just before COVID, I think. So yeah, did I sort of explain the thing? I'm trying to catch up with chat. And then there was a couple of other things that came up, like looking at the very flowery descriptions they have for some of the paints. There's a lot of stuff that makes no sense. Like at some point they were saying that the phthalo green pigment comes from some mines somewhere. But phthalo green is not mined, it's made in a lab. Like that kind of stuff, or lies about the way Mayan blue was made. That kind of stuff that some people who knew about this stuff picked up on and were like, wait, no. That's not a thing. And he was rude to Lena too, which is not very, not a good thing. And yeah, so basically, the whole issue with the Primatec colors is if you go to a place like Kremer, or another place that sells a lot of pigments, you can buy like some of the semi-precious stones as pigments. Same you can find within the Primatec line, like ruby, even just lapis lazuli, like that kind of stuff. And then if you try to make your paint from that, you get nothing near the color of the Primatec paints. And basically the very simple logic behind that is that if you grind a semi-precious stone, like as a stone it looks purple, but the finer you grind it, the more close to gray it becomes. It doesn't keep the color of the full object. By reducing it to a powder, you kind of lose that concentration of color. So you cannot possibly grind purple amethyst and get a paint that is exactly the color of the unground stone. It doesn't work like that. And then if you sort of expand this logic, it also applies to a bunch of other colors they have. That you cannot possibly take this stone that is exactly the color of the paint as a whole stone. If you turn it into a powder, it's not going to be that color. It's going to be something else. And so yeah, the issue also was that a lot of people were doing like what's the word I'm looking for, like esoteric paintings featuring the stones, like saying, oh, I'm gonna paint you something with amethyst and ruby and whatever, and it's gonna bring you peace and calm because that's the properties of the stone. But then the paint doesn't contain anything like that. So it's just, you know, this whole big mess. And the fact that it's fairly obvious that there's an issue with the paint and they're just not coming up clean with it, and they still stick to that years later, saying that amethyst, the paint, is exactly the stone ground. It makes no sense at all. It just doesn't work like that. Ground amethyst is transparent and has no color. Yeah, and it's if it has any color, it's a kind of a light gray. Like it just doesn't work. And yeah, he was super dismissive about the information with proof that the researcher came up with. Like, there were photos of the slides under the I don't think it's a microscope per se, but the image enhancing machine, you know, it's a bit like you know how they can't say that a Pop-Tart has strawberries in it because it doesn't reach the threshold of having strawberries in it, even if it's red and it kind of tastes like strawberries. It's basically that, if that makes sense. Perhaps that doesn't help. Like, I've got a house full of crystals because they're pretty, but when someone starts in with the BS of like, what you said, that person said, my eye. So yeah, that's the part that's really annoying, because they're beautiful paints. It doesn't take away from the paint. And it's also kind of sad because I don't think that's what, I don't know him, but I wonder if that's what Daniel Smith originally kind of had in mind for his range of paints. But yeah, it's just like not a cute look. And I remember back then they were doing lives on Facebook, and Otto and I, we would hang out in the live to sort of like just be shocked by what would possibly happen. Not all of them were terrible, but and whenever we would raise up a point about something that was not presented factually, they would always dismiss us as if we didn't know anything. It had such an elitist kind of vibe. Like, they would listen more to their ambassadors because they are professional painters, blah blah blah. But being a professional painter doesn't mean you know that much about paints. I've met, not personally, but I've seen a significant amount of professional painters that said stuff that made zero sense, like, oh, the series of the paint is the quality of the paint, or I don't know. You know, that kind of nonsense. Like, it's the quality. Series 1 is student and a series 4 is professional. That kind of lie. If you take 5 minutes to look into it, you're gonna realize that's not it at all. So, it was really unpleasant. Isn't M. Graham? If M. Graham, I mean, whether it's Oregon based or not, it's US based. And as such, I would definitely go to them if possible. They don't have as many colors, of course, but for all your basic, like, good pigment needs, I would definitely look into switching out to M. Graham when you're done with Daniel Smith, if they have an equivalent, of course. It seems so obvious that a ground up rock is just going to make gray off-scale powder, off-white powder. So yeah, it's BS that they claim the paint colors. Yeah, and they keep repeating it non-stop. And you're right, Sassy Britches. That's one of the things that people kind of brought up. That it's fine if the paint is not just the semi-precious stone. Just be honest about it. And the Primatech line could be inspired by semi-precious stone. People are still gonna buy it. The colors are still beautiful. It's being lied to unabashedly that is the problem, not the paint itself. They still do those live, ugh. Never trust a person who cannot admit they made a mistake. He couldn't admit to even the smallest error he makes. Yeah, it was really aggravating. I remember we were pissed. I think Paulo also was following them, and we were just like so. But yeah, this live stream last week was not with Cogley. It was with another person. They dug themselves so deep that they can't back. I mean, they could. You can always back out. What is it? That the only hole you can't dig yourself out of is the grave, right? They could BS something up. Be like, oh, we really misunderstood for all these years. We're really sorry. What we meant to say was this and this and that. It would be a bit better, you know, rather than just stick to it when we all know that it's not true. And I'm not seeing anything else with that. Oh. It's not true for all. Malachite. And I mean, yeah, the thing is with malachite and lapis lazuli, the process of getting this depth of color in the paint was so time-taking, and the paint would be so expensive as a result of that. Like genuine lapis lazuli blue that looks like ultramarine blue would cost so much money. Our favorite, I think, is the different series mean different. Ugh. I died a little bit, I think. Hey, Ali, hi. I would actually buy Primatech because I enjoy the interesting separation. If they just list what pigments... Exactly! Though I might not pay... Yeah, that's the other thing too. They kind of put them at a premium price because they keep the mystical aspect of it, and ugh. I guess having precious stones in the paint doesn't impress me much. Yeah, ultimately it's all about the color and the behavior of the paint, right? And I agree with you, Ali. The key element that I think is really a deciding factor for a lot of artists is what exactly are the pigments in there, because people like to know if their paint is going to be light fast or not. So by omitting this information, you can't really make the best choice regarding any paint, and it's not a good feeling, especially when a tube costs like $30 for 15 ml. It's like, no, thank you. I am good. The only DS I have is because I needed a new tube. Yeah, and you kind of have to get it where you can because it's a sadly discontinued pigment. So Daniel Smith is going to be the last company to have genuine PO48 because they bought all of it. I'm glad you like it. Sassy Britches. I didn't, of course I saw it somewhere else, but it's one I always kind of remember because it's true. Yeah, that too, Paulo. I would be grossed out, honestly, to be an ambassador for something like that. And I mean, I don't know, perhaps they pay really well and I'd be in a different situation if I actually was an ambassador. But I'm not. So, yeah. Ev is going to have an aneurysm. Oh, I mean, sassy britches. Uh, when you say, I just care what the paint does to my brain when my eyes look at it, I don't need it to have like magical, mystical properties or to be a gimmicky stuff. Dude, if you want to have a blast, you have to go read the little blurb description they have on the Daniel Smith website, unless they've changed them since then. But, oh, it would be the most flowery, mystical, nonsense BS you could think of. Amazingly funny. Terrible from an like honesty point of view and all that, but for entertainment value, top of the line. So funny. And yeah, if you're in the US, look into Da Vinci and M. Graham. Both of these are made locally for you guys, and they have beautiful color. M. Graham has a smaller range of sort of the most prevalent pigments, I would say. Well, Da Vinci has a bit more whimsy within their range. They have interesting mixes. They kind of have those tints, like the colors mixed with white, all of that. And they're both relatively affordable and easy to find for you if you are in the US. Though be mindful, M. Graham never fully dries. So just be mindful of that if you decide to try them out. But yeah, they're both beautiful companies too. And I mean, the M. Graham company have reached out to them years ago, and they were really, really nice, and they've always sort of come across as really nice. And I don't know if they still do, but they used to have a factory cat. So they get a vote. They get my vote for that. Sorry. Okay, so question for the gang. Hey, Massimiliano! It's nice to see you. Oh, there's Core too if you're in the US. That's true. We cannot forget Golden. Golden is also a lovely company with really nice work ethics from what I've heard. Core Chef's Kiss paints. Oh man, Da Vinci has beautiful mixes. Their Artemis color is beautiful, and it's kind of like Moon Glow. Is that the one or another one? Their latest one, Sage and Amber, is amazing. It's this granulating sort of yellow green with an orange undertone. It's just so fascinating to look at. If Daniel Smith is now hoarding that PO48, does that mean other people company will start to make a hue version of it? Yep. So we can still get the color even if not the exact pink. Yeah, they're gonna try their best to match the hue of the mix, the hue of the PO48, sorry, with the mix. So yeah, if you want the genuine thing, Daniel Smith will probably be the only place you can get it from. I wonder if they will like change the series and hike up the price of it. That would be the cherry on top of the sundae. By the way, Ev, I love that you said dude. That's one of the words we learned. Yeah, my English is a bit hodgepodgey because it's not my native language, so I pick up things here and there and might not make a lot of sense in the end, but as long as you guys can sort of understand me, I think we're good. I had an issue with M. Graham mansplaining me on an ill. Yeah, okay, that's not cute. I mean, it's not as egregious as the whole Daniel Smith kerfuffle, but it's it's good to know, good to keep in mind. Might have been just a bad day, or it might be a thing that is consistent. I didn't know about the factory cat. It was many years ago, and it was a tricolor cat, a bit like Jinx, if I remember right. I drew her in my review way back then. I did a couple of paintings, and one of them was the factory cat in a sort of wreath of... Oh, what's houblon in English? The thing they use to make beer. You know, the plant. Daniel Smith has the most saturated bright watercolor I've tried. You haven't tried Core, have you? Because, oh my gosh, they're high chroma colors. I've rambled long and large about them earlier in the stream. But oh, whoa, those colors are insanely bright. I've been told Da Vinci often has a lot of shine, and that is my one big no. Oh, okay, fair enough, fair enough. I also get similar shine with some schminke. I totally understand you. Good. English. I mean, thank you, but I'm pretty sure you're fine. Sorry, I got distracted for a second. I stopped using Shinhan Indigo because of the shine. Aw. I wonder if Core has that shine issue, because they use a slightly different binder. And I haven't painted a swatch in like a while. Okay. Oh, it's 4 p.m. Hops, thank you. Yes, hops. A cat in a wreath of hops. Thank you. Yeah, so generally almost all of the watercolors will use gum arabic as a binder. That's what makes them water soluble. That's what attaches the pigment to the paper so that when you rub it, it doesn't come off. But Core, aka Golden, decided they would go with a binder that has the same characteristics, but that is synthetic. It's named Aquazol, and it has the same characteristics of being water soluble, of really binding the pigment to the paper and all that, but it's usually more transparent, more translucent. Gum arabic can be a bit, it can range from like a sort of light yellowish tint to a brown, like coloration within the gum arabic. Aquazol is generally translucent completely. And there's really something about their formula that has some pigments just glow so brightly and so loudly on the paper. It's really fascinating. But I don't know if they dry with a shine in the Mastone. Since it's a different binder, I don't remember. Core actually dries way less saturated for me than Da Vinci. Oh, interesting. They look amazing when wet, but then they dry. Oh, I haven't had that issue a lot. I still find them mesmerizing later, but I don't know. I haven't noticed any shine in Core, even in Mastone, but I only have to. I mean, 12 colors, that's plenty enough to be able to see if they have a shine issue in the binder, because I'm pretty sure that within those 12 you have a bit of everything, like granulating colors, transparent, opaque, everything in between, staining, non-staining. It's the time of the year for porcelain deviled egg plates too. Yeah, wait until after Easter and hit up your secondhand stores. Go thrifting. I really like fondue plates too for palettes. They work out really well, and they often even have a spot you can sort of leave your brush on. It's meant for the pick you use for fondue, but let's do just a few more swatches. just really have not figured out how to play with them. I mean, if you end up with a lot of scrap pieces of paper with a bunch of swatches or whatnot on them, or just blob of paints, you can easily reuse those for either more swatches, like more paint blobs on it, or you can cut them up and use them as little cards for gifts or stuff like that. The worst brand for shine was Shinhan. Yeah, you really tested all of them for that, right? Oh, of course, Lana. Of course. Of course. Go ahead. It's a bit of a bummer because Shinhan has a few really unique, interesting colors in there. They all do. Can't really think of a brand that doesn't have something special at least once or twice within their range, you know. The only paints that I've tried that were a catastrophe were the 12 half pan set from PBO. Those were really unusable. They were like even below like the most kids cheap paints you can think of. Shiniest I've tried were Lucas. Oh, interesting. Yes, I was thinking they would be good for using as cards for people and for doing that. Yeah, absolutely. It's really like you can keep swatched paper. My great aunt was a painter, hobbyist, but a painter. She really liked it, and her business cards were cut up cards from watercolor paper with a big wash on it, and she would handwrite all her details on it years and years ago, before internet was a really commonplace thing. So she would have her name, phone number, all of that on it, and she would hand these out for people who would like to, you know, get in touch with her. I hated the PBO one, seriously. I really try to be fair with paints. I try to approach every set with the mindset that there has to be something to be done with these paints, regardless of what they are. And I think so far the PBO ones were the only ones that were absolutely unredeemable. The tin itself was so badly made. It didn't like fit well together. It was so thin. And then the paints were, I think the only thing you could possibly salvage from that palette was the little half pans. You remove the paint and you keep possibly just the little plastic half pans. But nothing else was salvageable. I had never seen that before. PBO paints all feel like, yeah, they have that goopy, gluey feeling to the paints. And that's the funny bit, because not all of PBO's products are that bad. Their drawing gum is okay. Their Ecoline, no, not Ecoline, what's it called? The Colorex. The Colorex drawing inks, which are all dyes, but they're nice. They're beautiful, inky dyes, like perfectly usable. They have a bunch of products that are perfectly fine, but those half pan watercolors, they were amazing in their awfulness. Like, wow. All these years later, and I haven't stumbled upon any paint that were close to being that bad. Melissa! Hello! Oh, they are miserable to use. Yeah, absolutely miserable. My favorite masking fluid personally is the Holbein one because it doesn't smell as bad as the other ones, but at the same time it's really hard to find. So I really try, Otto. Otto is a harsher critic. I will try to bend my brain in half to find a way to use something that doesn't quite pan out. I am loving these mixes. I know I chit chat a lot, but part of me is really eager to be sort of finished with this swatching book so I can set it up and share it with people. Just so we can all look at the swatches and be like, ooh, ah, ooh, oh, pretty, ooh. You know that. The PPO drawing gum does not smell... Well, the ones I had tried smell of ammonia so bad. If I don't like something, I don't like something. So I've tried Schmincke's masking fluid and I've had issues with it because of the way, if you paint over it, the way the paint dries on top of it, then when you try to remove the masking fluid, it can smudge that paint that was on top of it in the area underneath that you tried to keep white. I've tried a good amount of masking fluids, and so far the one that I really like is the green one from Holbein. It's here. This one. Like I'm at least halfway through the bottle. I transfer it to a fine line applicator like this, and that's what I use for all of this. And I've been using it a lot and I love it. It's just perfect. Sometimes I'm just bad and don't work too. Hence the cheesecake all route right now. Oh, did you really? Which one did you end up getting? Silly question. I feel like I should have figured out by now. Do you have a playlist of these? No, I haven't been doing them for a while, but they should all be in the live tab. I will make a playlist. I really need to go through my playlist and sort of review them and sort things out. But I will make one for the triads. Never happened to you this magic. Well, I mean, you're fortunate. That's good. Hang on, oh, hold on. I am guessing yes, but I'm searching on my phone whilst watching this. I haven't tried core because of how modern it seems. That, and I really enjoyed the... I mean, have you tried... well, Holbein is expensive in the US, but have you tried them? They have the most beautiful indigo color, in my opinion. Their indigo is on point. It is deep enough. It is just the right balance of sort of that middle ground between black, blue, and just a bit of green to really feel like indigo. It's a beautiful color. Tiramisu and... oh, wow. 2 slices. How big are the slices at the Cheesecake Factory? There used to be a I don't know if this exists, but we had a restaurant around here once, a long time ago, where basically if you went there and you got a slice, quote unquote, of cake, it was basically a fourth of a cake. It was a ridiculously huge piece of whatever you were getting, be it a cake with icing, a cheesecake, name it. Huge piece. I gotta say, it's one of the most North America things I've ever seen. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense. Oh, I missed tiramisu. I missed the real thing. And yeah, what Lena says is true. The core people, it's the golden team. And they're really, really nice. Yes, I love Holbein. It's my... Oh, awesome. High five. Hello. Holbein team. Represent. Yeah, Otto's right. Of course, 2 slice. That's cake for a few meals. But yeah, oh my gosh, Holbein is so well behaved. It's like the perfect behavior for a paint. It handles so well. I know that's part of golden paint is super high quality. I am just old school. Fair enough, fair enough. Though if you really want to, just play with them a bit, you could probably reach out to Core or Golden on their website. They might be able to send you a couple of dot cards in the mail, just so you can sort of swatch the colors a bit and just, do a few tests with the dots. From what I remember, they have like serviceable dots. It's not Schmincke's dot cards. And you would be able to see a bit how the paint kind of behaves. And if you like that. UK chain cafe called Pré does an amazing cookie that is white chocolate and raspberry. That's a pairing that we see often, isn't it? I usually keep the chat for the streams unless for some reason someone shares personal info and then they're like, can you please not leave the chat? But don't take that as a don't think that is a way to hide the chat. Don't share personal info, please. What do we think of handmade indie paints? I have a few. I mean, it's a case on case basis, but I love it. Generally, I love it. They also send a 3. Oh, they do. Oh, how freaking awesome! They're so nice. Is it the set that has like a yellow, the beautiful magenta, and then ultramarine blue? I think that's it. Oh, if they do, that's so cool. Oh, the nicest people, honestly. Wow. Dang. My flabber is guested. It's a kind I don't have this card. Well, if you eventually decide you want to give it a try, it's completely free to join up and to get Discord. And we share swatches, pet pictures, we chat about paints, ask for advice over there, basically everything. So if you decide you want to join, you're always welcome. That goes for everyone. With strawberries. I know because I contacted them because I couldn't. Oh. And they sent me a dot card. Wow. Like overseas, no issues, all of that. Dang. Man, nice people. I guess that's about as pure shadow violet as I'll get. So I need to start going back to yellow. I will end the stream soon, so if you have any kind of last minute questions you want to quickly ask, sorry. Nickel Azo Yellow is such a strong color. With only the lightest of touch, you see a difference in the mix already. It neutralizes the shadow violet quite effectively. I sent an email to Core asking for a printed color chart. They forgot to send the chart, but sent me. Oh, that's brilliant. I love it. Oh, that's so funny. I love it so much. They've always been super nice, the Golden people. Like, their website is set up with easy to access information regarding colors that are discontinued, the ways you can mix these colors or similar hues from other colors they have. I've talked with them through like the emails, customer service, and all that quite a few times, and they're always super kind, super nice, very helpful. Truly a company that kind of makes you happy when you're able to support them, you know. I didn't complain. Yeah. This is such a fun turn into the greens. I feel like I have to be extra careful though, because like the just a teeny tiny bit of the yellow and the color changes so much. It's like the opposite of Potter's Pink, where you have to go at it with a shovel to see to see a difference from adding some Potter's Pink into a mix. But yeah, regarding handmade paints or artisan indie paints, um, I really like them. I have a fair selection of them. There's possibly some that I would like more than others, but you have to go into it with a different mindset than like professionally, commercially made paints do. Uh, Most of them will smell of clove. So if you're really sensitive to smells, that's something to keep in mind. They might not have the best performance. Some of them might rub off more than you would have thought. They might not always be light fast, but they will usually be more unique, like really fun custom mixes. Um, I know that most of the handmade Potter's Pink that I've tried were really, really strong. That kind of stuff, you know. So you have to weigh what is really important for you versus what the paints offer, you know. Definitely checking out Corin Da Vinci. Of course! I hope you will find something to your liking in there. Okay, I just wanted to contribute a nifty trick. So I saw how some people use the sweatbands to hold their palette together. I used the leg part of... Yeah, basically, you can find a old sock that has a hole in the feet part, and you chop it off, and then you put it on your arm, and you can just wipe on your arm like that. My only issue with that idea is that I worry I would get too used to it, and then I would be painting and not have the old sock on my wrist, and kind of swipe on my good shirt and be like, no, that was phthalo green. You know, it sounds like something that would definitely happen. love reusing things, so I save old no-show socks for protecting. Oh, that's clever. I know that with old socks that are longer, you can cut off like rings of the sort of the ankle piece. So you can have these bands, and you can make pot holders by weaving the bands. Does that kind of make sense? You can get a specific loom for it, or you can MacGyver one yourself with a piece of wood and nails. Well, hello, Bio. I want some really vivid metallic paints to paint a peacock. Fine Tech are pretty spendy. That's tricky because no paints really are truly metallic. They're all shimmery. It's always this shimmer, but you will never get kind of a metal chrome effect. So there's always basically a way that you will look at the paints in an angle and they will look completely normal, completely flat. Does that kind of make sense? I'm finding I'm really partial to the indie Etsy market for stuff like metallics. Yeah, I agree that the indie market has some really nice metallic colors. Well, if I don't wear the sock sleeve, because yeah, I would. Okay, I'm glad to know it's not just me. I keep the same kind of old towels and cloths, and I just wash them. And then I reuse them. And I will probably continue reusing and washing them until they fall apart. I like to have it set aside so I can rest my wet brushes on them. Oh, yeah, that's clever. Renaissance. Ooh. Renaissance paints are quite nice. They're a bit tricky to use because they end up with, can be quite shiny. So you have to be mindful of that. Oh, there's no command in the chat. Though the link for the Discord should be in the description, though. All right. Let's just paint a couple of more swatches and then I'll call it and I'll go drink some water. I'm just loving these mixes so much, and we're having a fun time in the chat, so I'm always distracted. And then I remember that I'm painting pretty swatches. I'm like, oh yeah, let's paint more swatches. And then I'm like, ooh, chat, ooh, swatches, ooh, you know, back and forth. I also have a review for some shimmery paints somewhere on my channel. Do I have them? I guess that's it for the swatches. I'll just... Haha. So I have these. I made a video about them, and they're from the Art Spirits. I think that's it. Oh, and I glued the card on it way too well to be able to tell. Hold on, perhaps it's written on the pan. Oh, it's not written on the pan. Boo. But I think it was the Art Spirits or the Art Spirit or something like that. Thank you, Otto, for putting the link. Thank you so much. Oh, were they not visible? This is them. So for me, I went with a bunch of silvery and gold and copper kind of colors, and then also this green that has a gold shimmer in it. I wanted something possibly a bit more neutral, but I know that she also has some fun colors and whatnot. Like more fun than just these basic ones. Alright. Well, I think that's going to be it for today. I'm really glad I was able to have a stream today. I'm sorry that there was no stream last week. It happens. But yeah, so far there should be another stream next week. The only thing I have to figure out is what are we going to be doing during the stream. We've officially gone through all the 5 random triads that I had put together, so I don't know if you guys would rather have a bit of a break of these, or perhaps we could do some other kind of mixing or something. But yeah, I will finish this off screen. And again, I will try to, I'm about halfway through this book, so I will try to fill the rest of it somewhat quickly so that I can share it, because I want to talk about all of these mixes and go ham on showing off the pretty stuff. Oh, showing off the pretty stuff. Ha. And yeah, but yeah, I have to finish this first, so that's that. Whew. Different brand triad. So not Romish Mall, another brand. More triads and we could all follow. How about what if we tried with, instead of going by brands, I mean, we could try to make it more accessible and going by possibly pigments. Like grab whatever dioxazine violet you have, whatever Nicolazo yellow, and then whatever PV19 that's pink. That kind of stuff, maybe. I'll brainstorm. Thank you so much, guys, for being here today. I really appreciate it. That was so much fun. And yeah, it's always a lot of fun, actually. And I hope you also had a fun time. And we should be able to have another one of these next week. Same time, same place. Everyone's on their summer time, so we should be good for that. And yep, we will see what we will paint. And until then, you can check out the Discord if you want to chat about paint stuff during the week. And tomorrow there should be a video on the channel. So yeah, that's that. Again, thank you so much. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will see each other soon in the next one, something like that. So yep, bye bye. I hope. Where's the camera? Oh, here. There you go.